Hey, it's Justin Goff, and I am here with Kimmy Do. Kimmy has a pretty amazing story. She is a 16-year-old copywriter who already has two clients, one of which is a full-time kind of retainer client and a member of our mastermind. Um, Pretty amazing story. You don't really find a lot of young people that are into copywriting and young people specifically that are succeeding in copywriting. So I wanted to bring Kimmy on to talk to her about this and kind of hear a little bit about her journey and how she kind of got to where she is. So let's dive right in with how you got started. I'm pretty fascinated being 16 years old, getting into copywriting. So you actually got into copywriting a year ago when you're, I'm assuming 15. Is that right?
Yeah, when I was 15.
Okay. So I'm curious, how did you get into it? Did you just stumble upon it? Did somebody tell you about it? How did it actually happen?
Yeah, so I remember going on YouTube and then like watching a lot of like how to make money online videos. And then I stumbled across like a lot of videos about copywriting. And then so I watched like a lot of tutorials like how to practice writing and how to write copy. And then it was mostly videos from Dan Lok. So I ended up buying his course, and that's the first course that I got on copywriting.
Nice. So when you were kind of starting out, were you going after clients right away, or were you just kind of like practicing your writing? What was kind of your process there?
Like the first couple of months, I like wrote copy and like just practice writing it. And then I remember like around March, that's when I like started reaching out to clients and trying to get gigs.
Okay. Was there anything specific you were writing like right out of the bat? Were you writing like emails? You were writing ads? Was there anything like
I think I mostly practice writing like Facebook ads and like short landing pages,
that? Okay.
a lot of them.
Okay. Let's dive into kind of like the first client you get is obviously like such a big deal because it's like, wow, this is actually real. I'm kind of curious, how did you land that first client? And kind of what did that process look like?
Yeah, so my first client, so like around the same time I started making videos on TikTok, and then like one of my TikTok videos blew up, and then I connected with like a business owner who's also an author. And then so he sent me his book and I read it and I really enjoyed it. So I created like a TikTok script for him. And then it ended up like getting 1 million views on that script. So then like after that, like I sent him a landing page, and it wasn't very good. So he didn't end up using it, but like it taught me to like reach out to people and like use like the adding value method. So then like seeing what they could need and then giving that to them. So that was kind of like my first client.
Awesome. So you got paid for that?
Yeah, I got paid like $100 for the script.
Awesome. I mean, $100 isn't like life-changing money, but getting paid for the first time really is kind of life-changing. I mean, I literally still remember the first dollar I ever made online. And I remember it in vivid detail more than I remember days when I had like $400,000 days. So I think that first client, that first time you get paid, the first time you make money is truly life changing because everything becomes real at that point. Because it all still kind of seems like a fairy tale up until that point.
The
um,
concepts, like you can do this. This is real.
yeah, it is. It is because really leading up to that point, you kind of have to put a lot of faith in it that it's actually going to happen. But then once it happens, it's like okay, like that wasn't as like hard as I thought it would be, or maybe it was really hard, but it at least gives you some semblance that okay, I'm not just chasing this pipe dream that just where all these people are talking about making money online, and I don't believe it's actually true. Um, so yeah, I mean that was a big thing for me, and it seems like it was for you. So I'm curious, once you got that first client and he paid you, did you kind of try to continue working with them, or was that just kind of more of a one-off gig?
Yeah, that was more one off. So then I reached out to more TikTok creators. So I sent someone an article that was kind of like SEO article. I didn't get paid for that, but it was like a good connection. And then I also got paid for another TikTok script. It was like around $100. So I did like some of the TikTok scripts.
Okay. So one thing that keeps popping in my head and I'm curious about, so you're 16 years old right now. Um, are you balancing trying to write copy with, I'm assuming you're going to school full time, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so is this kind of like what you do in your spare time is the copywriting stuff?
No, in the morning I focus on copywriting, and then like in the afternoon I focus on like online classes and stuff.
Okay, okay. Um, so so it's been what, let's say about a year now since you started copywriting, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So nowadays you have, I know from our Copy Accelerator group that you picked up a client who's one of the big kahunas in Copy Accelerator who's crushing it with his credit repair business. How did you and Jay end up kind of connecting? I know he was looking for a kind of full-time retainer copywriter. How did you end up landing that gig?
Yeah, so I saw his post in Copy Accelerator, and then it was like samples for emails and for advertorials. And I haven't written like any emails at all, and I haven't written any advertorials either. But at that time, I was doing research for like a product, so I decided to like use the research and then like try to write an advertorial. So then I DM'd him and I DM'd him the advertorial, and then we connected over Facebook Messenger.
Okay, so you reached out, you sent him kind of what, a sample. Was it specifically for his product or is it just kind of a sample?
It was just kind of a sample.
Okay. And then you guys, I'm assuming, connected and did you hop on a call and kind of discuss it or where did it go from there?
After that, I think I sent him a couple more samples, and then after that, we did like a follow-up interview in a Google Doc, and then we connected in video after that.
Okay.
And
And your role now with Jay, you are a full kind of like retainer. He's a full retainer client. You're getting paid every month by him. And you're writing kind of everything for him or what's kind of the scope of the work you're doing for him?
right now, I'm writing mostly emails, and then I'm also working on some advertorials.
Okay. Have you, what's that process kind of been like? I want to, because this is a niche you're obviously, you had to learn a whole lot about. Like, it's not something you were like previously writing for. Um, how did you kind of tackle that? Like diving in and learning what are all the little pain points and the hot buttons and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I did a lot of research using the RMBC Google Doc. So like, I remember like one of the first things I did was like use a Google Doc and then like go to all the forums and then like read the Amazon reviews of other books. So yeah, I collect a lot of stories, like especially horror stories of people like experiencing bad credit. And then I also like read books on credit. And then I remember like last year I took a course on like personal finance, and that really helped a lot too, because like it talks about credit a lot and like how the credit system works. And then I also read some personal finance books, like the popular ones like Rich Dad Poor Dad, and like some investing books. And yeah, that definitely helped with like understanding the market more. So
Right.
yeah, the research doc really helped.
Yeah. I mean, it's when you're jumping into a niche that you don't really know anything about, you really do have to kind of become a consumer of that niche. You have to be looking at all the books and reading the reviews, and the forum thing is huge, and Facebook groups, and just kind of see how those people talk. Because especially when you're writing for like very different niches. So like if you're writing for credit repair versus the survival niche, it's just so different on what their hot button issues are, what their emotions are, kind of what their problems and frustrations and all that type of stuff is. So you really do have to dig into that, and you obviously did a good job of that. By really, I mean, most people skimp on the research, to put it bluntly. and they don't really understand the market well enough. But it seems like you really dove into that. And I'm kind of curious, how long was the kind of research process for you? Was that something that took a decent amount of time?
Yeah, I took like a couple weeks. Like I'm still researching and like learning as I go because there's like always more to learn about the market.
Right, right. So one thing I want to hit on, so you've been doing this for about a year. You have two clients now, which is freaking amazing. You're only 16 years old, which is pretty impressive. And then add on top of it, you're a woman in an industry that is 90% men. So you're just crushing it on all fronts right now. I'm curious though, what has been kind of the struggles for you so far in getting clients, or just maybe kind of doubting your own skills and stuff like that?
Yeah, a major like roadblock and struggle was like feeling qualified, like feeling um yeah, basically like feeling qualified. Cause like I remember back in May there was like a opportunity to apply for an agency and they were hiring like a Facebook ads person. So like I at that time I did not even know what um like a like a structure of a Facebook ad or like how to write a good Facebook ad. So I just like reached out to them and like I filled out the application form and then like somehow like I made it to the first interview. And then at the first interview like they asked me to like write a Facebook ad on the spot. And then like I had no idea how to do it, so I just like winged it. And then after that interview like I studied a whole ton about Facebook ads. And then I made it to the second interview and then like they hired me. So I think like even if I just like let that stop me, like if I let, oh, I'm not qualified, like I don't know anything about Facebook ads. I don't know anything about like writing good copy. If I let that stop me, like I wouldn't have gotten the chance to work with them. And so sometimes just like going for things, even if I'm not ready, because like the biggest thing is like not going for something and letting that fear stop me. So that's one of my like biggest roadblocks, just that fear of like uh yeah, going over the challenge.
I'm curious, have you had a lot of hangups with the fact that you are so young, just kind of in your own head thinking like, well, why would they hire me? I'm just like 16 years old when they could hire someone like who's a more experienced not only a more experienced copywriter, but someone who's a lot older. Is that kind of affected you at all?
Yeah, that's something I definitely went through. Um like I think it goes back to like not feeling qualified and then like feeling that, oh, I'm just 16, like why would they hire me? Like there's much more qualified people out there. So um actually the interesting is like the first like retainer client I landed, he told me that he knew like there were other applicants that were like way more qualified who knew more than me. But like he said I was like one of the hungriest to learn. So I think I leveraged that. Like I kind of leveraged my age, like that I want to grow a lot, that I want to like learn a lot. And um so I think I kind of like I turned that around almost.
Yeah.
So my age, like I want to learn a lot. And then because I don't know, like there's way more qualified people. So I want to like learn more and learn as much as I can.
I mean, that's a really important point because there are, if you're kind of an up and comer, that's something that can really set you apart from other people. Because if your skills aren't like so good that you're just going to get hired based on being a great copywriter, the fact that you're like willing to do whatever it takes to work for them um, is hugely appealing to a business owner who's going to hire you. So yeah, congrats on kind of showing that you're hungry and you want to kind of go the extra mile, because to a business owner that's really attractive, because there's nothing worse than hiring someone who's just half-assing the job. Like it doesn't matter how good they are if they're just kind of like not really into it. The copy's not going to be that great. Um, but if you're truly interested in learning and willing to put in the time and the effort, like you are so far, that's very, very attractive to a business owner. So that's kind of a good tip for anybody who's watching, who's just kind of starting out as a freelancer. All right, so you've been at this for about a year now. One question I'd like to ask people is, what do you kind of know now about copy and freelancing and the business of copywriting that you wish you would have known 12 months ago when you started?
Um, Definitely like being around a community and then like getting feedback on your copy. I think that's really important because um, when I was just starting out, like it's really easy to be the lone wolf and just like do this all on your own. I think that's like one of the hardest parts. So I really wish I knew like it's so much better to be in a community and then like get feedback on your copy and have mentors and then people you're learning from.
Yeah, I mean it's something for me. I'm actually always very jealous of people like you because I didn't really have that when I started, and it took me a lot took me a lot longer to start making money than like you've made probably more money in the first year than I ever did in 2 or 3 years. Mostly because I was exactly what you just said, the lone wolf who was trying to do stuff on my own. And back when I started, it was like 2005. I don't even think you were born yet. um, Back then, there was not any community like there is now. Like just all the like even Facebook groups where copywriters can talk and meet each other and learn new stuff. Like none of that even existed. So it was a lot harder to try to find that information. But I totally agree. Having, especially when you're starting out, having the community and the group around you that if you start to get down on yourself, you start to get dejected, or if you're confused about what to do, you have people who have already been there and who have kind of blazed the trail already to what you want to do. I mean, those are the best people to learn from because um, they can they can also keep you from going down a road where you're just going to waste 4 months of time doing something that's not really going to help you. They can just be like, no, you should focus on this and just keep kind of doing that. So yeah, I think that's a really important point. Just having that group around you, having that community that can not only cheer you on, but also really, like I said, the feedback is so important. It really is. Um, One of the reasons we added all those calls to the Copy Accelerator Light group to get you guys more feedback. Um, cool. So let's say you got 2 clients now. You've been doing this for a year. You're doing amazing already. I'm kind of curious, what's the next, I don't know, 6 months to a year kind of look like for you? Do you have any plans for what you want to do next year, or kind of where you want to take things?
For the next 6 months, I think I want to focus on like being a freelancer and like keep on improving my copywriting skills and like participating in the community and like keep developing my skills. And then maybe after a year, like uh, maybe I want to launch my own offer, like something in the health niche or um, like in maybe the info product niche. I'm not really sure, but like the long term goal is to like keep working on my copywriting skills and like getting as close to mastery as possible.
Nice. I'm kind of curious. So you mentioned earlier you tend to write copy in the morning. What's that look like for you? Is it like a couple hours in the morning? What is that? What's your kind of day look like with school involved and all that?
Yeah, so I usually wake up at 5 and then at 5:15, I read Gary Halbert. That's something Jay suggested. So I read his letters, like the boron letters or like the newsletter archives. And then I work on client copy. And then after that, like I take a break and then I work on copy some more. And then in the afternoon, I focus on school stuff and like other activities. And then at night, like I might write some more or like read books.
Nice. Um, Awesome. So I'm super glad you kind of came on to discuss this because honestly, it's fascinating to me to see someone your age that's already this successful and already getting clients. And I mean, I've seen your copy. It's pretty damn good for someone who's only been writing copy for a year, which is awesome. I mean, you're give it like 2 or 3 more years and your copy's gonna be pretty amazing. Um, so yeah, I totally appreciate you coming on and sharing your story because and I think it's really going to help a lot of people who it's kind of hard to watch you be this successful and for other people to have excuses for why they couldn't do it. Because everybody has their own kind of excuse of why they can't do it. But the fact that, like I said, you have a lot of stuff going against you, the fact that you're 16, the fact that you're a woman in an industry that's 90% men, and yet here you are succeeding. So it's pretty amazing testament to kind of putting in the work and studying and really just putting in the effort to make it happen on your own, which is pretty amazing. And congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate the community and like everything I'm learning. Because like I remember like after discovering RMBC and like the CA like community and like 100 buyers a day, like that's when my income really shot up. Because before that I was kind of doing like one-off things, like one-off gigs. But then after that, like it really helped me like in terms of like understanding copy and then like connecting with people and also leveling up my skills.
I'm curious. Well, one more question I want to ask. So you went to our virtual event that we did in September. I'm curious, did that, in terms of just seeing what was possible, did that kind of like change things for you?
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoy like hearing all the stories and like especially Emily's story. It was super inspiring and like seeing what's possible, like just connecting with people who are like on a whole nother level. It just like really opened up my eyes and like inspired me to see what's possible. Like all the opportunities and like what everyone is doing. Like I just like before entering this world, like I did not know these people existed, like this was possible. Like I was kind of in my own little world. Like yeah, but like after going to the event and like discovering this world, I kind of started seeing like the bigger picture and like the bigger things that could be possible.
Awesome. That's great to hear. It's something that always shocks me. Um, because for me, it's so normal to see like, oh yeah, there's all this opportunity. There's all these like gigs out there you could be getting as copywriters. There's all this money you could be making. Yet for a newer person, it's like you said, it's kind of eye opening because you're like, you're not thinking like that. Um, so for me, it's amazing to see someone who just kind of comes in and like the reality is kind of shattered by what's really possible when they see, oh wow, this person's making this much money and this person's making this much money. And this woman went from like Emily Lark's story is amazing. She was homeless at one point and now she's got an offer that's doing like 1,000 buyers, just crushing it. So yeah, just to see all that it does open up really what's possible and expand your mind to a whole different way of thinking, which I think is super valuable. Um, awesome. This has been a great talk. I'm sure the people listening probably got a lot out of it. So definitely want to thank you, Kimmy, for coming on, sharing your story and inspiring all the other freelancers and copywriters who may be listening. Any last thing you want to end with?
Um, Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And I just want to say that um, like the beginning is really, really hard. But once you start getting some momentum, like once you get past the initial fear, like things can like really start rolling. And like after you get into the right community, have like the right people and the mentors around you so you can learn from them. And then like just focusing on like growing at least 1% every day. And yeah.
Awesome. I think that's great advice to wrap up on. Thanks again, Kimmy, coming on. Thanks for sharing your story. And I'm super excited to see where you take this over the next year.
Thank you, Justin. I really appreciate it.